Welcome back in New Orleans, and there are the two gentlemen we've been talking about since we signed on. Two good friends, Sean Payton, Doug Marrone. Doug Marrone coached here for Sean Payton. He returns now as head coach, and it was quite the reunion at midfield, and none of it is fake, Dan. They couldn't say enough about each other.
No, especially when you talk to Sean Payton, because it just has such gratitude for those coaches that were with him in the very beginning. They helped in the community. They helped build this franchise into what it is today, which is one of the NFL's model franchises.
The Buffalo Bills have won the toss, and they will receive. Doug Marrone told us he wants that football first. He's getting it first. Marquise Goodwin will not get a chance to return this one. This sails out of the end zone for the touchback. In his third year out of Duke, Thad Lewis makes his third start in relief of the injured rookie quarterback E.J. Manuel. A pair of touchdown passes, one interception, and one thing came through loud and clear. He has an experience, but he has the confidence of his teammates.
He does have the confidence of his teammates, but you can't lose sight of the fact that 3 weeks ago he was on the practice squad.
Here comes the crowd, and here are the Bills at their own 20-yard line. Lewis keeps it, and Lewis still on his feet, lost the football. It is loose, picked up by the Saints. The turnover right off the bat, Junior Gillette with the recovery.
And Thad Lewis took a huge hit that jarred the football loose, and as you can see, he's still on all fours down on the field. It's the read option. He fakes the ball to Fred Jackson, and then he follows Jackson into the hole, and there is the hit by Hawthorne right on the rib cage. Watch David Hawthorne come in from the left, and the ball goes flying. And Thad Lewis is still down. Just the helmet buried right into the right rib cage of Thad Lewis. And he knew the ball was out, and he was incapable of even trying to scramble forward to recover it.
One play from scrimmage. Thad Lewis is on the ground, and it looks like Jeff Toole is warming up on the sideline. Just 30 seconds ago, Thad Lewis was able to get off the turf, and as you see, he is walking off the field. Now, number one quarterback E.J. Manuel already out of action, and Matt Flynn is inactive today, which means the quarterbacking chores fall to Jeff Toole.
Hey, 4 down.
And the Saints
50,
take over
50.
at the Buffalo 22.
You ready for shot?
Pierre Thomas for about 5 to the 17. And there is Jeff Toole, the rookie free agent out of Washington State. Boy, what a shot Lewis took.
Well, he follows Fred Jackson upfield, but Fred Jackson does not see David Hawthorne knifing over from the inside. And just a textbook hit by Hawthorne with the helmet right in the rib cage. That's what you're supposed to do to jar the ball loose.
Under pressure from Jerry Hughes, and Brees goes down.
Well, Jerry Hughes is one of those guys that can play both linebacker and defensive end, and he's a good edge rusher. And that time, he just overpowers Charlie Brown, the left tackle for the Saints. You know, and Jerry Hughes, not a really big guy, only a little over 250 pounds. And that time, he just blew up Charles Brown and got to Brees.
So now Brees with a 3rd and 11. Flares it out to this side. And out of bounds is Darren Sproles.
And how's that for a defensive stand by the Buffalo Bills? Defensively, they showed you a little something right there. Not only did the Saints not able to produce a touchdown, they went backwards.
Garrett Hartley, who is 14 out of 16, will try this one from 47 yards out. He missed it. He pulled it to his left. So the Bills survive the turnover, and they'll get the football back when we come back to New Orleans.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Fruit of the Loom. Start happy. And by Ram Trucks. Guts, glory, Ram.
Well, much to our surprise, Thad Lewis is back on the field and back calling signals for the Buffalo Bills after that shot that he took that resulted in the fumble. From the 38-yard line. Fred Jackson. Jackson breaking free. Midfield and into New Orleans territory. Forward progress still to be determined. He finally makes it to about the 47-yard line. The Buffalo Bills. Up front, longest tenured right tackle Eric Pierce in his 8th season. At running back, C.J. Spiller missing with the high ankle sprain. Fred Jackson fighting the sore knee.
Well, he's
not showing any effects of it there.
Yeah, he showed the Saints right there that he's healthy as he ran through 2 tackles.
Lewis goes down at his 48-yard line, and Hawthorne. The Saints 3-4 defense, the first-round pick of 2 seasons ago. Cameron Jordan, the sack leader for the team with 5. In veteran Jonathan Vilma's absence, Curtis Lofton has been outstanding, as has the rookie safety number 32, Kenny Vaccaro, the Saints' first-round draft choice from Texas. A loss of 6, 2nd and 16.
And the Bills are late coming in with the play from the sidelines.
Lewis going to throw it, and had something on that one inside the 40-yard line, and about maybe 2 yards, maybe a yard shy of a first down. T.J. Graham with the catch.
Well, it's surprising. I don't care how much football you followed, but when you see a guy who was lying on the ground as long as Thad Lewis was, and who just gave the impression that he was pretty severely injured, to come back out on the next series and then throw a football with the velocity that he just showed on that last one. That's impressive.
This is Fred Jackson with the first down inside the 35.
And right about now, I think the New Orleans Saints are starting to realize that maybe the Buffalo Bills are kind of serious about this game. They're a substantial underdog coming in here. They turn the ball over in their own territory. The Saints don't get anything out of it with a missed field goal. And now all of a sudden they're playing football at their end of the field.
Jackson gets a break to Shard Choice in the backfield on first down. Lewis to throw. Incomplete as he goes down.
Well, this matchup is between a really inexperienced quarterback against one of the most experienced defensive coordinators in football. And again, Curtis Lofton comes right up the middle, and just more people than the Bills can block. And Thad Lewis takes another shot and goes to the ground. You know that Rob Ryan, the new defensive coordinator here in New Orleans, he's going deep into the archives to come up with stuff that Thad Lewis has not seen before.
On second down, this is Choice, going nowhere. Kenny Vaccaro, the safety. They say nothing but terrific things about him around here.
Well, Kenny Vaccaro is going to... Here he is right down here at the bottom. Watch him come in off the edge. And this is something that the Saints just love to do. Sometimes they'll put Vaccaro and Malcolm Jenkins, both of their safeties, side by side in an overload defense. And the Bills are going to have to figure out which one of them is going to come, which one's going to drop, or will they both come?
On 3rd and 13. Sideline. That's complete to the tight end Scott Chandler, but he comes up well short of a first down. And here comes the field goal unit.
Well, this will be a lengthy field goal. This will be a little over 50 yards.
Well, Dan Carpenter has a long of 55 this season. He also has hit from 51 and 52.
And it looks like he's going to get another shot from right at 50.
Carpenter 15 out of 16 on field goal tries from 50. way outside to the right.
Boy, a lot of times you'll see a field goal that just does that late hook. You saw Hartley's hook and miss. This thing didn't move 1 inch, stayed perfectly straight.
Thad Lewis collects himself on the sideline. Dan Carpenter had been 3 out of 3 from 50 or more yards before that miss. First down now, New Orleans at their own 40-yard line.
And they're moving Mario Williams all around the formations. Now here he is over on the other side.
This is Pierre Thomas. Pierre Thomas out across the 45 to about the 47. For the New Orleans Saints, up front, Zach Strief was a question mark, but he's going to play today. And tight end Jimmy Graham was a question mark with a sore foot. He is the Saints touchdown leader with 6. He's in the starting lineup as well.
Okie, Mike 50.
8-yard pickup, 2nd and 2. And once again, this is Kyrie Robinson. The Bills' Mario Williams having an outstanding season. 10 sacks coming in today. Trails league leader Robert Mathis by a sack and a half. Buffalo fans excited about rookie middle linebacker Kiko Alonso, tied for the NFL lead in interceptions with 4. And in the secondary, Stephon Gilmore missed the first 5 games due to injury. Played some last week, starting at corner today.
Benjamin Watson has been playing tight end. I believe Josh Hill is in there now. No Grant.
And there is a tackle behind the line of scrimmage for a loss. That play made by number 95, Kyle Williams. What a terrific play by Williams, preventing the first down.
Well, look at the penetration he gets as he gets by the center, Brian De La Puente, and Robinson has no chance whatsoever. The Bills have 3 tremendous defensive linemen, and Kyle Williams, Marcel Darius, and Mario Williams. These 3 guys are game-changing type of talents. And we saw right there, Kyle Williams did a little game-changing.
Leotis McKelvin is deep for the punt. Morstead gets it off, fair catch called for and made at about the 12-yard line. So that's where Lewis and the Buffalo offense will try it again. 7:49 to play in the first quarter of a scoreless game.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Nationwide Insurance. Nationwide is on your side. And by Verizon. Powerful answers.
A couple of injured players that Buffalo would dearly love to have on the field. Rookie quarterback E.J. Manuel on the left and C.J. Spiller, the fine running back in his 4th season out of Clemson, both sidelines. First down from their own 12-yard line, Fred Jackson. And Jackson works his way out to about the 15-yard line. We get our first update of the day. JB and Boomer.
Hey, Greg, Patriots challenges continue.
Yeah, they do, JB. After a Tom Brady interception on their first series, Ryan Tannehill's going to roll to the right, buy some time. He finds Brandon Gibson. Miami takes the lead 7-zip.
Back to Greg Gumbel and Dan Deerdorf.
Well, we're thinking of you here in New Orleans too, JB. Fred Jackson again. Jackson with running room on the right side. 25 and out to about the 28-yard line for a first down.
Well, the Saints' run defense last year was the worst in the National Football League. They're improved this year, but they're still 22nd in the league coming into this. And in a team like Buffalo that you know is going to try to run, even without their most dynamic runner in Spiller, you know the running game is coming at you.
Jackson again, bouncing off tacklers. And out to the 34, where Curtis Lofton makes the stop.
Now, Fred Jackson, he's 32 years old. And, he's had a bit of a knee problem. He's been trying to work through it. But this guy is a professional football player. And when I say that, you get everything Fred Jackson has every single time he walks out on the field.
Lewis to throw, going to go deep, far sideline, incomplete. T.J. Graham covered closely by Keenan Lewis.
Well, this is trying to take advantage of what Thad Lewis does best. And he throws the long ball better than he does anything else. But that's just, that coverage by Keenan Lewis, it doesn't get any better than that. Yeah, he can have that hand on there. He's not shoving him. That's more for field. That's just superb technique by Keenan Lewis.
3rd and 5.
Mike 50, yellow 31.
There's Malcolm Jenkins up on the ball.
Play fake. Lost the football on the ground. Covered at the 20-yard
The
line.
Saints got it, I think.
Another Buffalo turnover. Cameron Jordan with the hit and the recovery.
Thad Lewis looks like he's trying to bring the ball back down. Let's see. You know, a year ago that might have been a tuck and he'd have got away with it, but not this year. That's a live football. Yep, a year ago he'd have been the beneficiary of the tuck rule, but the tuck rule is no more here in 2013. And that is a loose football.
Someone will have a conversation soon with Mr. Lewis about ball security.
Well, what are they going to do?
Pull him?
71-yard line. Thomas loses yardage on the play. Kiko Alonso in on the tackle. He is the number 3 tackler in the league coming into this game with 70 of them.
Well, he's certainly Buffalo's number 1 tackler. And man, they've gotten an awful lot of mileage out of that second-round draft pick out of Oregon.
I think we could say a man of few words, Dan.
And Jimmy Graham is now on the field for the Saints.
Saints have run 7 plays for -1 yards so far.
Texan. 5-0. 5-0. Ready. Let's go.
Brees had to get rid of it in a hurry, and on the side he finds Darren Sproles, and Sproles out of bounds at the 15-yard line, run out by Jarius Byrd.
Well, the Saints get a lot of mileage out of this because Jimmy Graham runs a clearing route, and then underneath comes Sproles. And, you know, Jimmy attracts all sorts of attention downfield, especially as we're inside the red zone. So he's normally going to get bracketed over and under, and man, that leaves a lot of room underneath for a guy like Sproles.
3rd and 4. Brees throwing, touchdown, Lance Moore.
Well, Drew Brees was looking forward to getting Lance Moore back out onto the field. He's missed the last 3 games with a bad wrist. And this is what he loves about Lance Moore, his precise routes. And boy, what a chance taken there by Nick Elroby. He goes so close to swatting that ball away, but it was an all or nothing move when as a corner you undercut it like that. If you don't get the football, chances are it's a score.
The Buffalo Bills allow a touchdown pass for the 16th time. That is the most in the NFL. And the New Orleans Saints this time turn the turnover into 7 points. 7-0 Saints. Off Thad Lewis's second fumble of the day. Moore with the 15-yard touchdown catch from Drew Brees. 7-0 New Orleans. And Marquise Goodwin deep for the kick. By the way, Dan, can I just say that was a really bad dance in the end zone by Lance Moore?
I guess with Halloween approaching,
that's no excuse. That's
you don't give him a free pass.
No.
Well, he's certainly been there before. Lance has been around 8 years. He should know better.
Out of the end zone for the touchback, and once again the Bills will start from their own 20-yard line. Gives us an opportunity to tell you about tonight on 60 Minutes, the attack in Benghazi, what really happened. Lara Logan with a year-long investigation on 60 Minutes tonight, only CBS. This is what Buffalo has been able to do or not do on offense. The one time they did move the ball downfield, they missed the field goal from 50 yards out.
Illegal substitution, offense, 12 men in the huddle. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Terry McCauley, our referee today, not the start that Doug Marrone envisioned for his Bills here.
Nope. Especially considering that it was after a kickoff. You shouldn't have any confusion in a situation like that. You've had the whole offensive team gathered over on the sidelines.
So it's 1st and 15. Jackson. Going nowhere. Curtis Lofton with the stop. Let's go back to that touchdown.
Yeah, I want you to take a look at safety, Aaron. This is right. This is right where Drew Brees wants to throw the football. But watch it, it's going to be an underneath clearing route, and there goes Williams with it, which leaves that entire side of the field one-on-one where Lance Moore can run that post pattern. Drew Brees knew he was taking the safety out of the play, opening up that entire half of the field.
Lewis under pressure, throwing it, incomplete. Frank Summers out of the backfield. It'll be 3rd and 15.
And again, Frank Summers used very rarely as a receiver, only a couple catches on the season. That should have been and could have been pretty easy pitch and catch, but a little hot and a little too far out in front by Lewis.
Boy, and that New Orleans defense is getting some pressure on Thad Lewis. Lewis looked to his check down, and his check down Fred Jackson was covered, so he just dropped it in the dirt.
Well, it's not a turnover. So, considering that they turned it over on 2 of their 3 previous possessions, that was actually a pretty smart play by Thad Lewis. But this is going to be a long day for the Buffalo defense if Thad Lewis isn't able to get this offense a little more consistent.
Darren Sproles back at his own 40-yard line. Fields it at the 40 and is bumped out of bounds immediately. 3:57 to play in the first quarter, and Drew Brees and the New Orleans offense back to work in just a moment. Hey, fantasy football fans, you can check out CBSSports.com Player Challenge, a new 4-week game with a cash prize in every league. See rules and sign up at CBSSports.com/challenge. Who dat in the seats, Dan?
Well, that'd be Rob Ryan on the left, and I think that's a Sean Payton impersonation on the right. And there's the real deal. Tough to replicate.
He is the real deal, isn't he?
Jimmy Graham on the sidelines at the start of this series.
Brees, deep drop, time, sideline. Bingo on the money at the Buffalo 45-yard line to Robert Meacham.
There are a few quarterbacks in the NFL that I enjoy watching throw the football more than Drew Brees. Not exactly the prototype, but look at that classic over-the-top release. Look at the tight spiral right between the numbers for Meacham. Drew Brees, a guaranteed Hall of Famer who just keeps adding to his resume every week.
Jam!
All 6 feet of it.
This is Kyrie Robinson. And Robinson for a couple to about the 43. Update time once again. Back to the NFL today in New York. JB and Boomer.
Speaking of adding to a resume, Megatron.
I was going to say the same thing, JB. Take a look at Calvin Johnson on the bottom of your screen right there. Gets inside of Brandon Carr, the Dallas Cowboys. Now, he's going to run out of gas towards the end of this. He's not going to score a touchdown on this one, but this will lead to a 2-yard touchdown pass on 4th and goal for Matthew Stafford to Calvin Johnson to give the Detroit Lions the lead.
Sounds like I better check with Boomer first, Greg, before tossing it back. Greg and Dan.
You just figured that out?
On 2nd and 7, Brees throwing over the middle inside the 40 to about the 37-yard line. Marcus Colston with his first catch of the day. You talking about Drew Brees, Dan, and I mentioned this at the very beginning of our broadcast. For his career, he has completed 65.6% of his passes. That's phenomenal accuracy.
Well, how about 2 years ago, almost 5,500 yards, an NFL record. Last year, almost 5,200 yards. 46 touchdowns, 43 touchdowns. I mean, this guy's playing a video game when you look at him statistically.
The Bills are looking at Leotis McKelvin,
which would be a loss because he is an outstanding corner, a tremendous return guy who does an awful lot for the Buffalo Bills, and they can't afford to lose Leotis McKelvin. They just got Stephon Gilmore back at the other corner.
This is the play, and this is Brees.
And right at the end, ooh, look how he's able to pick that left leg up off the ground. Jerry Hughes fell in there, and man, that's the kind of thing where if you can't get that cleat off the turf and you can't lift it up in time, that's a sprained ankle waiting to happen.
McKelvin appears to have, well, maybe walked it off. Let's see. But meanwhile, Ron Brooks is on to replace him at cornerback. 3rd and 2.
Ready?
And Brees will throw for it. Sideline. And his receiver slipped and fell. Colston on the far side of the field.
Well, you got a classic back shoulder look because of the cover corner, Ron Brooks, in his position. And that's something that Marcus Colston and Drew Brees do pretty routinely. Brees reads it, the back shoulder is there all the way, and Marcus Colston just had his legs way too far out in front of him. Not even close to being able to plant and come back.
And on 4th and 2, the Saints are going to go for it. Like this move, Dan?
Yeah, I do like this move. It's too far for a field goal, and you punt and you pick up maybe what, 15, 20 yards of field position.
The pitch for Pierre Thomas, left side, got the first down, and more. Bumped out of bounds.
Yeah.
At the 25-yard line, first down New Orleans.
Now let's be realistic, Greg. If that was Tom Brady in the Patriots offense or Peyton Manning in Denver, it's more of a punt situation. He's got big Charles Brown out in front who actually just absorbs the block. But we see Brooks just kind of disappear as he goes into the abyss. But again, that's gauging who's playing offense for the other team, I think, factored into that decision by Peyton.
Sproles on the field. Brees with all kinds of time. And a penalty marker thrown. One of the Bills was held, and Brees out of bounds.
Charles Brown, I don't know if he's the guilty party or not, but he's the one who kind of turned around beseechingly to the umpire.
Holding offense number 60. 10-yard penalty, first down.
The center, Brian De La Puente. But that one was pretty obvious.
Well, De La Puente is in between two really good football players in Ben Grubbs and Jari Evans. And he's working hard to uphold his end of the bargain. He started all of last year, and he's the starter now. And playing up to the level of those two guards isn't easy.
So backed him up 10 yards. It's 1st and 20 now from the 35. Brees. And almost intercepted on the near side by Aaron Williams. He had Marcus Colston covered on the near side, and we have another marker down.
15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Terry McCauley clicked in late, and we did not hit roughing the passer.
Let's take a look at, here comes Marcel Darius. Oh, and then from the other side, Westerman comes in and actually puts a helmet onto Drew Brees. You're not allowed to put a helmet onto the quarterback when he's in that pocket. He's a defensive player. You can't even hit him in the midsection with your helmet.
First down from the 20. Pierre Thomas up the middle and bounced back. At the line of scrimmage, Kiko Alonso teaming with Kyle Williams. I mentioned what a talkative young man Kiko Alonso was. We met him for the first time last night, Dan. He just didn't have very much to say. Dan.
No, he's a different cat. Not that all linebackers aren't, but he's he's kind of entertaining. He's a free spirit and a really, really good player.
2nd and 10.
Can the Saints get Jimmy Graham involved?
They
Yes,
do
they
right
can.
there.
Yeah.
And Graham very close to a first down at the 10.
Well, Jimmy Graham was completely shut out against the Patriots a couple weeks ago. Now, he got hurt in that game, but even prior to that, Aqib Talib did a tremendous job defensively. And Drew Brees is pleased to get number 80 involved again. He's got that first catch under his belt.
3rd and very short yardage.
Ready?
Brees trying to get the Bills to jump.
Right there, Graham.
Offense number 9. 5-yard penalty.
Oh, they're going to throw this one on Brees.
Well, they're going to say that he made a sudden move in pulling out from under center to make a call. You can do that, but if the officials interpret it that you were doing it with the intent of trying to draw the other team off sides, they'll flag you for it.
And with that, we come to the end of the first quarter. Turnovers have killed the Buffalo Bills. One of them turned into a touchdown. We'll go to the second quarter. You're watching the NFL on CBS. A look at what the Saints have done in the red zone as we start the second quarter. New Orleans with a 7-0 lead on Buffalo. You said at the very beginning, Dan, one of the objectives for the Bills is not to get blown out early.
Well, they've had a lot of help from their defense to see that hasn't happened. But you're right, here they are threatening to go 2 touchdowns down.
3rd and 6 from the 16.
Jimmy Graham split out all the way.
Offense number 9. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Wow. Back to back, they've hit Drew Brees with him trying to induce the defense into a false start.
And Drew's having a little talk with Terry McAuley about it.
Hey, Lions! Lions!
Yeah, they called it because of the hands. He made the sudden movement with his hands. And I'm telling you, Terry McAuley is calling this baby tight. Quarterbacks get away with that kind of stuff all the time.
So now it's a 3rd and 11.
Ready, shot!
You notice Drew isn't moving his hands now.
35 and 37, 35, 37, ready.
Not in that violent motion calling for a snap.
Running out of time. Got the snap away just in time. And going up the middle for the end zone, incomplete. Intended for Colston and Jairus Byrd. Broke it up.
Yeah, unlike before where Drew was able to find the single coverage, this time it was into double coverage. Jairus Byrd comes over and does exactly what the safety is supposed to do, and Marcus Colston is the man caught in the middle. Right there, Drew was trying to look off Byrd and get him to go the other direction. Byrd would have none of it, and that's exactly the way the safety is supposed to play it.
Here is Hartley from 38 yards. Kick is on its way. He missed that one. Missed the 47-yarder, and he missed that one to the left.
Well, his first one grazed the upright, and this one actually misses the left upright by about an inch or two. But you're right, wide left on both accounts. And it's a lonely place where Garrett Hartley is headed right now. Love is hard to find on the bench for a field goal kicker after a couple of misses.
Unless you're winning a game, love is hard to find for field goal kicker anyway, isn't it?
No, everybody loves them when they make the game winner.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
First down. That pass over the middle, wide open, caught by Stevie Johnson for a first down. Let's get to New York for an update. James Brown, Boomer Esiason.
All right, Greg, Miami. I'll tell you what, Ryan Tannehill getting it done today. 5-yard TD pass to Daniel Thomas. Time of possession, guys, 15:56 for the Dolphins, only 4:09 for the Patriots, who are struggling mightily on offense.
Greg and Dan, as you saw, an open-ended toss to Boomer. Back to Greg.
That one for Stevie Johnson. And that is going to back them up by about 3 yards. So it'll be second and about 13.
Well, you can see Thad Lewis is trying to make the most out of some play action. The Buffalo running game was pretty good at the very beginning, and that would set up the play action. But a young quarterback like that desperately needs the running game and then the play action passing that goes hand in hand with it.
There's a little bit more of that hurry up that Doug Marrone wants to see out of his team. Lewis throws. And that is complete inside the 45 to Stevie Johnson for a first down. And again, boy, Thad Lewis can throw a rope.
He certainly, well, you can see a little bit of what the Buffalo coaches like about him. One is that he's got a wonderful command of this offense. And that was a good job by Stevie Johnson of actually finding the soft spot back in that New Orleans zone.
This is Fred Jackson, and Jackson maybe a yard. He's 42, maybe the 41 and a half.
Fred Jackson never did go down. He just stalled because of the sheer number of Saints that were all over him.
This doesn't feel like it should only be a 7-0 game. Jackson to the sideline, Tashard Choice into the backfield on 2nd and 8.
Again, without C.J. Spiller, the Bills' offense is missing a lot of explosiveness.
Choice, running room, 30, 25, all the way to the 20-yard line.
Well, that was a half-hearted attempt by Malcolm Jenkins, who's really a good safety. But watch this attempted tackle on Choice right there. What's that? I'll give him credit. He got hands on both his shoulder pads, but that was about it. And then he had to chase him another 10 yards down the field to make the tackle. Malcolm Jenkins is having a really good year. He's been tackling a lot better than that.
20-yard pickup for number 20, first down. And it is Choice again. And Choice pulls his way close to the 15-yard line.
And this is Buffalo's only chance in this game, is that they have got to be able to run the football. It's going to make Thad Lewis and his attempts to run the play action passing game all the more important.
You see the Bills scoring efficiency in the red zone, 95%, with 9 touchdowns and 10 field goals.
Well, they'd like, obviously, more touchdowns and fewer field goals.
Lewis. Little flare to Jackson, and Fred Jackson trying to find running room. Dips just inside the 15 to about the 13-yard line. There is E.J. Manuel. Suffered a knee injury week 5 at Cleveland.
He's probably a good 2 to 3 weeks away from coming back.
Here comes the Saints crowd on 3rd and 2. Lewis going to throw for it, end zone, touchdown, Stevie Johnson.
Now that's something that Stevie Johnson could do very well, and that is catch a ball in traffic, and what a throw from Thad Lewis. In the slot, Stevie Johnson gets a great release and has to go back and behind. That ball was away from the safety, where Johnson has to make the adjustment in the air, turn his body, and grab the football. And this is a pretty surprised crowd here at the Superdome.
3rd touchdown of the season scored by Stevie Johnson. Another look at the touchdown pass. Lewis to Johnson. 10:44 to play in the first half. New Orleans and Buffalo tied at 7. So the Buffalo Bills were able to put a drive together without turning the ball over. 8 plays, 72 yards in just over 4 minutes, capped by the touchdown pass to that guy, Stevie Johnson. We're tied at 7. And Darren Sproles is deep. Darren Sproles, 2 career kickoff returns for a touchdown, 3 career punt returns. And he won't run this one out of the end zone. Will come to the 20-yard line. So Drew Brees and the offense back on the field. We come back to New Orleans.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Surface, the one device for everything in your life. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. And by Ford. Only Ford gives you EcoBoost fuel economy and a whole lot more.
Hey, see for yourself why millions of fans have followed Person of Interest to its new night and time. Don't miss a new episode Tuesday at 10, 9 Central only. CBS. The Saints from their own 20-yard line. Although there's still a little meeting on the sideline, and now here comes the rest of the offense.
The rest of the offense comes out without number 80. Yep. Looks like they're saving most of his work for when they get down close to the red zone.
And there is number 80. Boy, what a talented young man he is.
Now Benjamin Watson is playing tight end right here. Let me tell you something. He gives them an awful lot of football.
This is Pierre Thomas. And Thomas out across the 25. And let's go back to that touchdown.
Yeah, the two safeties. Here's Vaccaro. Here's Malcolm Jenkins. And here's Stevie Johnson. Vaccaro, first of all, doesn't disrupt Stevie Johnson at the line. He gets a free release, and then Malcolm Jenkins is too late getting over there. Vaccaro, the rookie, has got to get a hit. He's got to reroute or disrupt Stevie Johnson's release, and he did not.
Brees on 2nd and 4, pulls it down, and then he goes down. Back at the 15-yard line, Denoris Searcy from his safety position with his 3rd sack of the season.
Well, and when you see a safety with 3 sacks, you realize that he is a big part of their pass rushing scheme. And Mike Pettin, the defensive coordinator, realized in that situation with that formation that Searcy was unaccounted for. There was no back in the backfield to account for him. The lineman ate up the lineman, and that was a straight shot for Searcy to Brees. Mike Pettin, all his experience with the Jets, with Rex Ryan in Baltimore, he plays a very diverse and a very complex defensive scheme.
And Sproles
Play game, offense.
shifted to the slot. They did not get the playoff in time, so they'll back him up 5 more.
Wow, Drew Brees has been called twice for false starts in the way he handled the snap count, and now a delay of game.
Very un-Brees-like.
Very uncharacteristic. This is coming off a bye week. They just look a little sketchy on offense.
Sproles in the slot once again on the near side. 3rd and 18. Brees flips it out into the flat to Sproles.
There are 4 Buffalo Bills looking at Darren Sproles after he catches that pass. He must have been really excited to look upfield and see all that.
Doug Marrone told us when Sproles is on the field, they throw the ball about 80% of the time.
But take a look at the bracket. 4 of them just cutting off every possible escape route for Darren Sproles.
Leotis McKelvin back at his 35-yard line. Fair catch ball for and made at about the 37. Pretty good field position for Thad Lewis and the Buffalo Bills. We have a 7-7 ball game. We told you at the very beginning, the Buffalo Bills come to town with the 5th best rushing attack in the National Football League, and it's serving them well so far today. From their own 38. This is Frank Summers, and Summers just across the 40 to the 41-yard line.
Well, Greg, that graphic we just put up, it's the reason that this is a tied ball game right now. It's one of the big ones. Is that this offense has to run the football to protect Thad Lewis. They have to run the football to set up his play-action passing game, and without it, they are dead in the water. And right now, Glenn and Legursky and Wood and Urbic and Pierce are getting it done. Those are really, really sound rushing averages. Ooh, Stevie Johnson, looks like he's limping. He's clutching at his left hip.
Like he pulled something just coming out of the huddle or
well,
out of the formation.
You don't see that every day where a guy gets injured just on his way to line up. and obviously the most dynamic of the Buffalo receivers.
Lewis hit hard, lost the football again. Junior Galette came charging in from behind.
Well, it's where a tight end has the blocking responsibilities. Scott Chandler, number 84 there at the top of your screen, just gets beaten badly. A terrible mismatch, and Galette just hammers Thad Lewis.
And the Bills recovered.
And again, he didn't hit him with his helmet, hit him with his shoulder pad, hit him below, a perfectly legal hit, but devastating nonetheless. Anytime you got a tight end blocking on a rusher, the capabilities that Galette has, it can be a real problem, and it was there.
3rd and 10. Doug Legursky recovered the loose ball. Lewis throwing. Hits his man across midfield. That's Scott Chandler, the tight end. Out of bounds inside the New Orleans 40.
Well, you can say that Chandler redeemed himself by catching that ball and moving the chains. But how about Thad Lewis? Buying a little extra time on the run, shows some nice touch, delivering a very catchable ball to Scott Chandler. And I'm telling you what, is Thad Lewis a tough guy or what?
I'm impressed.
Seriously, this guy has taken a couple huge shots in this game.
Line of scrimmage is the 40-yard line. New set of downs for the Bills. The give is to Jackson. Jackson can get nowhere.
Well, you better reserve a spot in the hot tub for Thad Lewis if this game continues like this. Here's the first play of the game. He gets hit by Hawthorne, a fumble. Then there's another fumble as he's hammered in the backfield. And then from behind, unbeknownst to him, Junior Galette bearing down on him. Thad Lewis, in just about a quarter and a half of football, has been hammered repeatedly.
On 2nd and 11. That's complete to the 35. And still on his feet to the 30 is Chandler. And that's a first down.
Well, I think when Chandler rolled over, he was on top of a Saint and thus wasn't down. Let's see, is it Curtis Lofton? He's right, that's exactly right. It's a great call by the official not blowing the whistle, because Scott Chandler never goes down. No part of his anatomy other than a hand touched the ground. Good work by the officiating crew.
Since starting the game, 2 for 6 throwing. Lewis is 7 for 7.
And right now, there are a lot of worried people in Louisiana.
Choice to the 24.
You know, keep in mind now, we've got about 5 minutes left in the first half. Drew Brees and the Saints offense has 64 yards of offense. 64 yards. It has been a long time since Brees and Peyton had those kind of pathetic numbers.
You're talking about the 6th-ranked offense in the NFL starting the day. 2nd and 8. Play fake to Choice, throwing over the middle, incomplete. Lewis went down hard, pass intended for Scott Chandler.
That time Chandler couldn't get any separation. The New Orleans coverage way too good. And again, look at the hit on Thad Lewis. Unable to defend himself, David Hawthorne one more time turns Thad Lewis into his personal Joe Palooka doll.
3rd and 8. Movement up front, penalty markers fly. Let's see who's to blame. Looks like it's against New Orleans.
Encroachment, defense number 96. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Penalty call is on Tom Johnson. Stevie Johnson, incidentally, back in the lineup for Buffalo. He is all the way to the top of your screen. No, now he's in the slot. 3rd and 3. Lewis throwing. holding on. No.
Scott
Chandler made a heck of an effort.
Oh, wow. Chris Carr and Scott Chandler are tied up. There's Carr, 31. Watch how long he fights this ball. He has it with his left, his right, and then almost is able to pull it into his midsection. A lot of credit to Chris Carr. He was right there where he had to be to make the play to break it up.
So here is Carpenter from 37 yards out for the lead, and it is perfect.
Wow, a made field goal.
Something new today. 4:35 to play in the first half. The Bills with a 3-point lead.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by T. Rowe Price, understanding the connections of a complex global economy. Invest with confidence.
Back in New Orleans, coming up on 4.5 minutes to play here in a first half, which has been interesting, to say the least.
Well, New Orleans has points because they didn't have to go very far to score that touchdown after a Buffalo turnover.
Sproles going to run this one out. Tripped up before he can get to the 15-yard line by Marcus Easley. We take a look at some numbers today, and Thad Lewis holding his own very well.
Well, I can tell you right now, we could put together a highlight reel, a low-light reel, show it to Doug Marrone, the Buffalo coach, of all the bad things that have happened to them. The way his quarterback has been getting pummeled, and he'd look at that and go, well, we must be losing by 3 touchdowns. And yet here they are up by a field goal.
You know how that ice in the tub is good for guys after a game? Thad Lewis may do that at halftime.
Like 50. Ready. You ready, my son?
Brees. Looking. Throwing. Wide open at the 30-yard line is Ben Watson, the tight end.
Well, credit the New Orleans offensive line for that. They eradicated the Buffalo pass rush, and Drew Brees had a lot of time to allow a slow developing pattern to open up. Good work by the guys up front. And again, this is as talented, maybe more talented of a defensive line that they'll see all year. These guys are good. These guys from Buffalo.
Ready. You ready, my son?
Another first down. Brees. With time, up the sideline, wide open, he hits his man. Kenny Stills down the sideline for the touchdown.
Well, how Buffalo thinks that Jerry Hughes, a combination linebacker and defensive end, is going to somehow catch. There's a complete blow in the Buffalo secondary, because there's no way that you could be asking Jerry Hughes, who's the only Bill nearby, to cover a wide receiver like Kenny Stills. I don't know if that was his responsibility from the beginning. It's impossible to tell, but I can't imagine that Mike Pettin would want that kind of a matchup.
The extra point is good. 69 yards on the pass from Brees to the rookie out of Oklahoma, Kenny Stills. And it's 14-10 New Orleans.
Here's Kenny Stills down here, and let's take a look at this. Oh, I'm sorry, here's Stills is in motion, coming across and ends up in the slot. And Jerry Hughes is just not able and never will be able to run with Kenny Stills.
Drew Brees told us Kenny Stills is just waiting to become a big-time player. .343 to play. And the Saints, just that fast, jump back into the lead. This crowd needed a little bit of something, didn't it, Dan?
Yes, they did, and they got it in a hurry. New Orleans went from 64 yards of offense to 150 just on that one drive.
Marquise Goodwin deep for the kick. And will not get a chance to return this one. The touchback will bring the ball to the 20-yard line.
Well, they've had a couple long plays. It was in the Miami game that Jimmy Graham brings in that 27-yarder. And then Kenny Stills against New England. That was a 34-yarder. And then against Stills. And when Drew Brees looked up and identified Stills, he must have said, wow, I can't believe he's that open. And that's the kind of coverage they're trying to play.
And as you can see, that's par for the course for these New Orleans Saints and Drew Brees. 3:43 to play now in the first half. And Thad Lewis back to work on offense from his own 20-yard line. That one looked ugly from the beginning, and Fred Jackson never had a chance to get going.
Well, they're just trying to run that out of the classic I formation. And Thad Lewis.
Timeout. New Orleans, 30-second timeout.
And New Orleans now using the first of its timeouts to preserve some clock.
And somehow Thad Lewis, he didn't stumble over one of his own players. He just appeared to lose his footing on the way to the handoff.
A reminder, with NFL Mobile's free trial, get 30 minutes of free live video access to exclusive premium content on your smartphone. Now through October 29th, go to NFL.com/mobile to learn more. Message and data rates may apply.
That was really close to the third turnover for the Buffalo Bills. Well, here's where Rob Ryan can have a little fun. He plays it straight.
2nd and 13 over the middle, and that's another bullet out of the hands of Thad Lewis into Robert Woods, the rookie from USC. And New Orleans calls another timeout.
Well, New Orleans wants to get the ball back in decent field position. And you're right, that was pretty good coverage by David Hawthorne. Robert Woods was the all-time leading receiver in USC history before Buffalo grabbed him in the 2nd round this year.
This is a Buffalo team that puts at least 20 points a game on the board every single week.
And you go, really? With the quarterback issues? You know, even on their best day, they're starting a rookie in E.J. Manuel.
Yep. 3rd and 6. Lewis over the middle, incomplete. Stevie Johnson never really had a chance for that.
No, Corey White just smothered him, and that was a risky throw by Lewis. He tried to force that thing in there, and that could have backfired.
So Sproles drops back to his own 30-yard line for the kick, and the Saints still with a timeout remaining.
Well, they better cover the heck out of this with 43 back there.
Ryan Moorman. High kick. Fair catch called for and made at the 23-yard line.
Now that's another superb punt by Moorman. When you make a punt return guy like Darren Sproles field the football within a yard or two of the sideline, that's a grade A 10 out of 10 punt.
53 yards on the punt, and Jimmy Graham going to take the field here for New Orleans.
Now he's been playing more at the other end of the field once they cross the 50, but given the fact that there's 3:18 left in the first half and New Orleans smells a chance to pad their lead here a little bit before halftime.
Brees has a timeout at his disposal plus the 2-minute warning.
Ready. 20 seconds.
That catch is made by Marcus Colston, and he's dropped at the 29-yard line.
Buffalo will be happy to surrender those types, but you know that pattern is just setting something else, the clearing pattern, then the throw underneath. Well, they'll run that same pattern. Instead of going the underneath route, they'll go over the top.
2:50 to play. Brees over the middle. That's complete. across the 35 out to the 39-yard line as Lance Moore for a first down.
Well, they run Jimmy Graham about 40 yards down the field, and he takes 2 Bills with him, and that opens up a lot underneath, and Kyle Williams is on one knee.
Kyle Williams, the big defensive tackle.
Here, let's watch Jimmy Graham, and when he runs this pattern, this clearing pattern downfield, there's a safety who's not in the picture, who's over the top, and that opens up an awful lot. So Drew Brees sees that double cover on Graham. He knows there's got to be some room underneath.
So Brees consults with Sean Payton while big Kyle Williams walks off under his own power.
You know, that's where Jimmy Graham is a little different than, say, like Tony Gonzalez. Tony Gonzalez loves to work those underneath routes and the intermediate stuff. Jimmy Graham is really a field stretcher. He is not a sharp route runner in that 10, 12 yard area of the field. Where Jimmy Graham is at his best is long striding down the field with that unbelievable catch radius of his.
Jimmy Graham is like a wide receiver playing tight end.
He gobbles up a lot of real estate.
Mike 2-5. 20 seconds.
2:15 to play. Quick pass by Brees, and that catch is made by Colston to the 45-yard line.
What a study in patience here by Drew Brees. We'll get to the 2-minute warning, and then he's going to go over and talk about it with Sean Payton and go, let's go to work.
2 minutes to play here in the first half in New Orleans. The Saints trying to put more on the board. They lead by 4. See, New Orleans' passing game has kicked into gear lately. 2 minutes to play here in the first half. 2nd and 4.
I'd say right about now, Drew Brees, his heart rate's about 50 beats a minute. He is in complete command.
Kyle Williams is returned to the defensive front for Buffalo, by the way. Brees, little screen, this side. Thomas, running room and blockers inside the 40 to about the 38-yard line.
The Saints run screens out of so many different formations, and Drew Brees does such a good job of selling it. Looking right, looking right, looking right, and then at the last second, jumps up and tosses it to the left. Completely catching Buffalo by surprise.
Brees now completing passes to 8 different receivers, and he's going up the seam. Tipped and incomplete. Mikel Roby got a hand on it, and not much of a hand on it, but just enough.
Did Marcus Colston look like he heard footsteps there? That's a pretty good case of alligator arms there by Marcus Colston. He didn't exactly stretch out for that football.
.127 on the clock, 2nd and 10.
Hey, easy. Mike 2-3. Mike 2-3 right.
Jimmy Graham right here in the slot.
Brees got hit as he threw it. It's incomplete at the goal line.
There's a flag down in the Buffalo secondary.
Prior to the pass, illegal contact. Defense number 37. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Mikel Roby, the rookie from USC.
Well, he puts a jam on he hits Kenny Stills about 15 yards downfield. That's one way to disrupt a guy's route. Unfortunately, you can't do it beyond 5 yards.
So Brees still with 80 seconds on the clock and a timeout.
Well, he's served notice the last couple of times that he's willing to take a couple shots.
So from the 33 and a half. Thomas splits 2 tacklers and dips inside the 25 to the 24.
Some of the Buffalo defensive linemen are they're pretty unhappy. They think they got held on the play. Again, the timing of the New Orleans screen game it's a thing of beauty. Brees kicks.
his man on the near side, and that's Lance Moore out of bounds at the 15 to stop the clock.
What an addition to this Saints passing game when they get Lance Moore healthy and back on the field. Drew Brees, Sean Payton, both so excited to have him back after missing the last 3.
Lance Moore, undrafted, coming out of Toledo.
Such a precision route runner, Greg. He really understands this passing game, understands exactly what Drew Brees expects of him, and he is in the right place 99% of the time.
Thomas in the backfield, Drew Brees. Penalty marker flies, pass is thrown, and it's intercepted in the end zone.
Did they grab Drew Brees' face mask?
I believe that's why the penalty was thrown. McKelvin made the interception.
Oh, now he's signaling holding against the Saints. The flag came flying just as Brees was contacted.
His head was pulled back, appeared to.
Well, they might also get Charles Brown, the left tackle, for grabbing.
Also appeared to get hit in the head, too.
Well, there is no question that...
Here's Terry McCullough.
2 fouls on the play. Holding, offense number 71. Personal foul, glass in the face mask, defense. Penalties offset. First down.
Well, that's the best news that the Saints could get out of it, because it was an interception in the end zone. And it's funny, Mario Williams was the man in the middle on both of those penalties. He was the one being held by Brown. You see Drew Brees had to kind of straighten his helmet back up. But when he came peeling out of there, Mario Williams, while he was being held, reached out and really snapped the helmet of Drew Brees around.
So it's a first down, just at the 15-yard line. 41 seconds to play. Brees on the move and threw it away. Stops the clock with 35 seconds, and a reminder coming up, the Verizon Halftime Report. JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, Coach Bill Cowher, all the latest NFL scores and highlights coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report.
And as you can see, this New Orleans offensive line, they've got their hands full with this Buffalo front wall. Drew Brees again under pressure, got flushed. It's been, I can think of only 2 or 3 times where he's really sat in a really clean, comfortable pocket.
On 2nd and 10, Brees throwing, post pattern, complete, touchdown. Jimmy Graham.
Such a huge target, a big body able to shield defenders on a simple post pattern. Running out of the slot. There's Jerry Hughes. He gets a bit of a jam on him, but a lot of open space in there. And then Denoris Searcy just gets run over by Jimmy Graham at the 2-yard line. For a guy who there was a good chance he wasn't even going to play today. A lot of questions about his health. Jimmy Graham, I know, is making a lot of people here, Who Dat Nation, really happy.
Well, Manny Lawson is out of this game with a hamstring, and they've had to move Jerry Hughes into the linebacker position today.
And there was a situation where Brees' offensive line really did give him a good pocket. Look how comfortable he is back there, able to set and fire. And Jimmy Graham already at 6'7". What a target. That makes it look awfully easy. That crossbar is 10 feet up there. You can get a lot of these guys out there and take a leap at that thing and
come up short.
It would look bad.
21-10 now, the New Orleans lead with half a minute to play.
You know, and there are so many questions about Jimmy Graham, and you know, you heard speculation, does he have a torn plantar fasciitis, which is a type of an injury that, you know, you've seen it cost people their productivity the rest of the season. Even if they were able to play, you know, they were hindered. But Jimmy Graham looks pretty good to me.
Marquise Goodwin will let this one sail out of the end zone, and the Bills will start from their own 20-yard line.
Well, Drew Brees, it was a slow start at the Buffalo turnover. He hits Lance Moore on the post, and then on the out and up to Kenny Stills, the rookie outruns Jerry Hughes to the end zone, and then finally to Mr. Reliable in the red zone, there's Jimmy Graham, and the Saints, after an awkward, bumpy, kind of herky-jerky start now, find themselves with an 11-point lead.
And Drew Brees now with 17 touchdown passes on the year. The Saints have put 14 points on the board in the last 3 minutes and change. And Tashard Choice decked by big number 96 Tom Johnson, and we'll see if that's the last play of the first half.
And I tell you what, how different would things be, Craig, if Mario Williams wouldn't have grabbed the face mask of Drew Brees, because that would have been a Buffalo interception, and they'd be in a little more of a desirable position.
Both teams to the locker room to regroup, except Drew Brees. He's doing a little studying on the side. We come to the end of the first half with the New Orleans Saints leading Buffalo 21-10. Back with the Verizon halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. This is the NFL on CBS. From New Orleans, where the Saints lead it as we get set for the second half by a score of 21-10. This season, Pepsi invites NFL fans to show love for their team by asking, are you fan enough? Pepsi, the official soft drink of the NFL. Back in the Superdome, Greg Gumbel along with Dan Deerdorf. A couple of things of note in the first half, Dan. If you're not the better team, and clearly the New Orleans Saints are a better football team than the Buffalo Bills are, you can't make mistakes, especially when you're on the road.
No, you can't. And initially, you know, they overcame the first one. They turned it over deep in their own territory, and their defense made a stand, and New Orleans obliged by missing a field goal. But no, then the mistakes start to pile up. And again, you got a feeling now that Drew Brees and that offense, they kind of showed that they had a bye week last week. They were a little rusty, a little slow getting started, but really apparent in the second quarter that he's got it going now. And this is a huge sequence coming up for the Bills defensively.
Yeah, the tough order of business now is that the Saints get the football first here in the second half.
And they're really in their wheelhouse from a comfort level.
Darren Sproles from the goal line. 20, 30, caught from behind and brought down at about the 32-yard line by Robert Woods as we look at some halftime numbers, and not surprisingly, they favor the Saints. Except for the rushing yardage.
Yeah, and again, we were talking about the fact that what was really a big benefit for the Buffalo Bills was their ability to run the football. But it's been negated by the fact that offensively, Drew finally got the Saints offense clicking.
So Sean Payton looks on from the sideline. His offense begins from its own 32.
Ready, 90, reset.
And Pierre Thomas will start it with the running game and try to get that going. He's out to about the 39-yard line.
Well, and you talk about the New Orleans running game, Greg. You're right. That's priority number one for them. They know that they've been a little inadequate running the football, way less than they would like. You know, when you're running it for less than 100 yards a game, you'd like to be over that century mark. And take 86.7, and today less than 40 in the first half.
And right off the bat, we have an injury to a Buffalo Bill, and that's Denoris Searcy.
Yeah, Searcy's banged up. Again, he's a blitz specialist from that safety spot. He's got 3 sacks on the year, 1 today. But New Orleans would love to pound the rock.
They come into this game ranked 22nd in the league in rushing. And it's easy to say, well, we'll look at our passing game, but you know Sean Payton wants more than that.
No, everybody wants balance. No matter how good you are in one phase or the other, you'd like to have balance because it makes everything you do easier. I'll say this about Doug Marrone. His team plays hard. They've been competitive in every game. You look at their losses. They lost to Cincinnati in overtime. They lose to the Jets by 1 touchdown. They lose to New England on opening day with New England kicking a field goal on the last play of the game to edge them by 2 points. This team has bought into what Doug Marrone is teaching and selling, and they play tough.
Every game has been no more than 7 points. Win or lose, Kyrie Robinson on the carry there. I thought it was interesting. Doug Marrone was telling us last night about how before he became the head coach at Syracuse, he would not have been ready to be a head coach in the National Football League.
Well, he's ready now, and I think he's proving it on a daily basis in Buffalo. You know, keep in mind, he went opening day with 2 rookie quarterbacks, 2 quarterbacks on the roster, both rookies. Now you would say, well, that's going to be a team that's going to win 2 games all year. Well, they're better than that.
On 3rd and 1, Brees throws for the first down, and that is Jed Collins out of the backfield, and he is out of bounds at about the 49-yard line.
So I just think that Doug Marrone came in with a plan. He's got a lot of help. Doug Whaley, the GM, and there's a lot to like about him. He's an old school guy in the sense that he believes in the fundamentals of the game. But as you can see, I mean, just look at his demeanor. He doesn't run up and down the sidelines. He doesn't jump out of his skin. He's a very composed, very controlled coach.
Here's the mic. Omaha.
First down now for the Saints from their own 49, and this is Thomas, and Pierre Thomas maybe to midfield once again. An update from New York, JB and Boomer.
All right, Patriots bouncing back.
Here's something we haven't seen in quite some time, or at least a few weeks. Tom Brady throwing a touchdown pass, this time 14 yards to Aaron Dobson, 14-10 Miami. That's Tom Brady's 343rd touchdown pass, good for 4th all time.
Even while he was backpedaling, Greg Gumbel and Dan Dierdorf.
Dan, I thought it was very noble of you to have a dozen oysters on Friday night just in Boomer size and
I most certainly did. And then I had some on JB's behalf. And
some for
Coach Cowher. Then I went to work on Marino.
Brees throwing this side of the field, and that's complete, and diving for yardage is Josh Hill, the rookie from Idaho State. Did he get the first down? It will be very close.
Well, when you're a backup tight end to both Benjamin Watson and Jimmy Graham, your opportunities are few and far between. And for Josh Hill, he really tried to make the most of it.
Short yardage, Pierre Thomas gets the first down to the 40-yard line.
How's that for pass distribution? Peyton and Brees are letting everybody have a little taste of the pie. Sean almost looked like he was laughing calling that play. There's a guy that loves the game.
Under, like 50. Ready. New 80, but shot.
Brees, little pump fake up the far sideline, and that's incomplete. Intended for Robert Meacham, and he was covered over there by Leotis McKelvin.
Well, then again, he tries to go back shoulder, realizing the coverage is to the inside of the field, so he tries to back shoulder. And this is a ball that just sails on Drew. Yep. Robert Meacham, who was here for 5 years and then went to San Diego for a year and just came back this year. He's well versed in this offense and what's expected.
Four down.
That was just a pass that got away from Drew Brees.
Ready. You ready, but shot.
Well, you don't hear that very often about Drew Brees, do you? Running out of room. He flips it to Pierre Thomas. Thomas inside the 40 to about the 37-yard line. Talk about cool and calm in the backfield.
Well, Jerry Hughes just takes a swipe and actually hits Drew Brees in the face. And Terry McAulay, if he would have seen that, that's a penalty. That is a penalty. And Terry McAulay, who was on the back side of that, didn't have a good view of that. Or
perfectly shielded. Perfectly shielded.
He'd have thrown his flag. That most definitely. The Bills got away with one there.
So now Brees looking at a 3rd and 7. Needs the 30-yard line for a first down. Brees stepping up and brought down at the 43. Kyle Williams, who hails from Ruston, Louisiana, just about 330 miles from here,
and played his college football at LSU. And he's a grinder. There's 95 right in the middle. You can see he gets a really good push on Ben Grubbs. And then when he has to go low, you know, look at Grubbs. He's got jersey, he's got everything, but Kyle Williams stayed with it. I'm telling you, he's a Pro Bowler last year, and that's a good look wide. Not very glamorous in there.
McKelvin is deep. They'll let this one fly and bounce, and it rolls into the end zone for the touchback. Number 24, Corey White, couldn't keep it from going into the end zone. 10:08 to play in the third. Buffalo on offense after this. Now that takes a little time in the makeup department before you head out to the stadium. Fred Jackson going nowhere. Curtis Lofton, Kenny Vaccaro combining on the tackle.
Well, Thad Lewis played quarterback at Duke, graduated with a degree in sociology, and as you can see, had a pretty prolific career there. Signed by the Rams as an undrafted free agent, released there, ended up in Cleveland, where he actually started a game at the very end of last year. The Bills signed him, and then almost within the week, released him and signed him to the practice squad, where he stayed for 5 weeks before he was called to active duty.
Fred Jackson not going anywhere again. A little pushing and shoving. Lee Smith, the tight end, getting into it with number 94. That would be Cameron Jordan. So 2 running plays have lost a couple of yards, and now it's 3rd and 12.
And Buffalo had been having such success running the ball, and that came to a grinding halt. Now Ryan has been conservative the last couple times, only coming with 4. Oh, he's got still only 4 though.
Lewis with time and throwing, and throws behind his receiver, Stevie Johnson.
Well, that time it was a good job by the Buffalo offensive line. And Doug Marrone knows your expectations can only be so high.
So once again, Darren Sproles is back. He's at his 35-yard line.
What Buffalo can't afford is a big special teams.
This one in the middle of the field. And the fair catch is made at the 43-yard line. That's terrific field position for Drew Brees. Meanwhile, Doug Marrone has some problems to solve. His team trails 21-10.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Quicken Loans, for a mortgage experience that's engineered to amaze. And by Acura. Discover more about the Acura RLX at acura.com/RLX.
Tomorrow, great night of comedy on CBS begins with new episodes of How I Met Your Mother and Two Broke Girls, followed by a special Big Bang Theory and a new mom. It all starts tomorrow at 8, 7 Central, only CBS. 5th time today that the New Orleans Saints have begun a drive at their own 40 or better.
Well, you could tell it was Halloween looking at that face.
Or, as we say here in New Orleans, just another day.
Under. 150. Ready. You ready, but shut.
Brees from the 43. Play fake. Looking. Throwing. Over the middle. Got his man. At the 40 to the 39-yard line, Kenny Stills.
Well, in every game that goes by, this rookie just gets more and more confident. And it's apparent Drew Brees. Look at him. Look at Drew Brees. He's eyeballing Stills all the way on a crossing pattern, waiting for him to get open. You can see it's a struggle for Drew Brees at 6 feet to look over that offensive line. He's trying to crane his neck to get every inch he possibly can out of it.
Tyree Robinson for a couple. I asked Doug Marrone why it is. I mean, Drew Brees is hardly the biggest quarterback in the NFL. They have him listed at 6 feet. We don't think he's that tall, but you don't see many of his passes being batted down, and Doug Marrone said it's because he is so over the top.
Such a high release point where you'll see a 6'5" quarterback that sometimes has that 3/4 motion, or even, like a Matthew Stafford, more of a sidearm
Pull down.
motion. They're coming back to the field. Drew Brees makes the most of it by going up high.
Brees with time, rolling, looking, going to keep it, and drop to the ground at the 35. Good coverage downfield by the Bills. Kiko Alonso and Mario Williams converging on Brees.
This Buffalo defense, by and large, there is a very bright future for this group right here. They have really bought into Mike Pettine's system. It's a more aggressive, get after it type of defense. It starts with a talented defensive line. They've really found something, and Kiko Alonso, the middle linebacker, a rookie.
Bills with a chance to make another stand here at 3rd and 6. Here they come. Brees over the middle and incomplete. There's a penalty marker.
I don't think the penalty marker involved Jarris Byrd there at the back end. I think it was something up closer to the
line of
scrimmage. It might have been a hold or something going on.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense number 55. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's Jerry Hughes, who's had some problems keeping up with receivers today.
Well, again, you talked about that he's filling in for Manny Lawson. And they get Jerry Hughes is a very versatile player. He can play linebacker. He also plays that rush defensive end, the edge rusher, a lot of times. But coverage is not Jerry Hughes' strong suit.
Well, as if the Saints' offense isn't good enough. Bills have given him 3 first downs with penalties.
And here they are all the way down to the 30.
Ready, my shot.
And around. Kenny Stills. And Stills to about the 26.
Well, Jimmy Graham is still standing over on the New Orleans sideline. I guess he's waiting his turn. He waits till they get to the sweet spot, which will probably be down around the 20-yard line.
Ready, sir. You ready, my shot?
Sproles at the bottom of your screen, but they're going to run it to the other side. And this is Pierre Thomas. Thomas inside the 15 to about the 13-yard line, and it's another Saints first down.
Well, this is the kind of a run that the Saints have been looking for. Zach Streif, great job. Jari Evans gets a good seal block. And just a good, solid tackle, but not until Pierre Thomas was well downfield.
Under 5.5 to play in the third now. Sproles on the field, first down from the 13-yard line. Brees to throw, and that's complete. Inside the 10, inside the 5, reaching for the goal line is Jimmy Graham. Touchdown.
Man, talk about a guy that gets to come in. The car's going all the way down the assembly line, and he gets to just drive it out the door. Jimmy Graham wasn't a part of this drive until they get down into the red zone, and then look what happened. Can't do it any more simply than that. Alonso lets him get away from him. Kiko's got that coverage and just can't stay with Graham. And then talk about extending and the long arm of the law. Jimmy Graham reaches that football across the plane when he's still a long way from the end zone.
Did his knee touch down before he reached across the end zone?
Well, it's a scoring play, so it'll automatically be reviewed upstairs.
It looked to me there's a good chance that might have happened. Terry McCauley will take a look.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
That long reach of Jimmy Graham served him well.
Well, what works in Graham's favor, wait till there the knee touches, but Jimmy Graham already had the arm fully extended before his knee makes contact with the ground. And there's no way that Terry McCauley could see anything that was definitive to prove otherwise. The ruling on the field was a touchdown. It stands. Not confirmed, but it stands.
21 straight points for the New Orleans Saints. 28-3.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Bud Light, official beer sponsor of the NFL. And by Acura. Meet the extremely new 2014 MDX at Acura.com/MDX.
When you're counting most touchdown passes of all time, Drew Brees right there in the conversation. 4 today. Tom Brady just one ahead of him. He has thrown one against Miami this afternoon. Marquise Goodwin will not get a chance to run this one out, so they'll come out to the 20-yard line. I misspoke as we went to commercial. It is 28-10, not 28-3.
Well, right now, Thad Lewis is up against him because the huge advantage now has shifted to Rob Ryan and the Saints defense. He can pretty much disregard the run game and just do nothing but get after number 9.
Tashard Choice starts in the backfield on this series. And that's complete across the 25 from the 26-yard line. Stevie Johnson with the catch.
Stevie Johnson, remember we saw him a little bit hobbled earlier. He still looks like he's hobbled. Yes. There's something wrong with that left leg. You can see him clutching at that left hip. But give him credit, he's trying to gut it out.
Bills have yet to register a first down this quarter. And they have now Scott Chandler with the tough catch and hit almost immediately by Bush, the safety.
Raphael Bush comes in there, and again, Stevie Johnson, I think, being forced to the Bills sideline. And again, just you can see him pulling up. That's pretty much rendering him ineffective. You got to wonder if he'll be back.
Yeah, he won't be stretching the field anytime soon, will he? On first now, this is Choice. And not very much on that play. Number 76, Akeem Hicks, reeling him in.
Yeah, given the state of the fact that this is such a young, inexperienced quarterback, the Bills still have to run the football, even if it's going to chew up time, even if it's not a quick strike offense, just for a survival mode for their quarterback. They got to make some attempt to do something other than just ask him to throw it on every down.
Lewis to this side of the field, and that is complete and out of bounds. About the 45-yard line to Goodwin and wrestled out by Keenan Lewis.
And that is a nice aggressive tackle. Even though he ends up out of bounds, there's no way Lewis knows exactly where they are on the field. This is a situation where the Bills today could have really used C.J. Spiller. But I think the coach has made a good decision. Sit him down. Try to get that ankle of his cleaned up.
Lewis looking deep, far side of the field. That is caught.
I think they're going to
T.J. Graham for a touchdown. We have a penalty marker
it's
down.
It's going to be holding against Buffalo.
Holding offense number 84.
Yeah.
10-yard penalty. First down.
Yeah. Scott Chandler, the tight end, again being asked to try to pass block. He's trying to block Junior Gillette. Here he is right here, and watch Chandler again. You're asking a tight end to block like an offensive tackle. Gillette's going to get the outside on. There's the hook. He hooks him and spins him, and that drew a late flag. Oh man, that stings.
The spark that Doug Marrone was looking for was just extinguished by a penalty flag.
Again, remember we saw Chandler in the first half, again trying to block a defensive end and wasn't up to it.
There's Chandler on the receiving end and across the 45 to the 46-yard line. Curtis Lofton making the stop.
And Chandler's defense, you know, there aren't many tight ends that are equipped to go one-on-one with a really talented pass rusher like a Junior Gillette. It's a mismatch. If they were that good of a blocker, they'd be playing offensive tackle instead of tight end.
Stevie Johnson back on the field in the slot to the near side. 11-yard gain, 2nd and 9. Lewis steps up, throws, incomplete. Intended for Chandler. It'll be 3rd and 9.
Well, Stevie Johnson is just, he is just hopping along here. He tries to get a little burst there, but I'm telling you right now that the Saints aren't paying much attention to Stevie Johnson.
Yeah, after a while you lose your usefulness
right.
even as a decoy.
Well, and you run the risk of making an injury worse. And you know what might be a 1-week deal, maybe you just don't want to exacerbate the problem and make it worse.
3rd and 9.
Here they come.
Lewis throwing, incomplete. He got hit, and there's a penalty marker.
That might be roughing the quarterback.
Personal foul, roughing the passer.
Yeah.
Defense number 23. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down. Correction number 24.
Now that penalty is on Corey White.
And again, Corey White, watch him as he comes in from the top, hits him in the helmet. The crowd here erupts, but it sure looked like White's helmet made contact with the helmet of Thad Lewis. And that, you don't need me to tell you that that's a no-no. Let's watch it really closely here. Right in the ear hole. That's a good call by Terry McAuliffe.
So now that's a first down at the New Orleans 39. Lewis throwing, caught inside the 20-yard line by Marquise Goodwin. And he moved forward to about the 13.
Wow, what an effort by Goodwin going up and getting this football. Now here's how there's how a receiver goes after a football, and that is a fingertip catch. Look at that. He catches that with the last ounce, not ounce, but the last inch of each finger corralling that football. That was beautiful.
From the 13. Buffalo fighting to climb back into this game. This is Fred Jackson for 3 to 10.
Well, this was a demoralizing moment for the Bills when they threw a touchdown pass and had it brought back because of a holding penalty. And a lot of times that'll just bring a drive to a screeching halt, and the Bills have overcome that. They have, tell you, this team's got some sand.
And Dan,
this is a gritty group.
Stevie Johnson is on the field.
Yeah, he's hobbling out here, split to the right.
And now we get a timeout called by New Orleans.
Charge timeout. New Orleans.
So New Orleans uses a timeout here with 54 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. They'll talk about it. The Bills will talk about it. We'll be back. Back in the Superdome, 54 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter. 2nd and 7 for Doug Marrone's Buffalo Bills. Stevie Johnson flanked to the bottom of your screen. Fred Jackson in the backfield. Lewis gonna run it and slides down at the 8.
Well, Thad Lewis has some escapability, and he does have some ability to run, but after the beating he's taken today, I'd have to think that's last resort.
Fred Jackson had 42 yards rushing in the 1st quarter. He's rushed from -1 yard since, but only on 3 carries. They've had to go to the air.
Scott Chandler, his tight end, is 6'7", an inviting target down here.
3rd and 5, throwing and just threw it away.
And again,
and crushed by Corey White.
Could this be another roughing the passer?
Roughing the passer, defense number 24. Half minutes to the goal, automatic first down.
Here comes Corey White again, and a helmet-to-helmet hit. He hits Thad Lewis in the helmet again with his own helmet. Wow, you get a free run at the quarterback. You gotta use your head for something other than hitting somebody with it.
White is out of the game. 1st and goal from the 4.
Hey,
Jackson behind Lewis, gets the handoff and gets a couple to the 2, maybe the 2.5. And that'll be the last play of the third quarter.
That is the end.
We come to the end of the third quarter. The Saints lead at 28-10. Buffalo threatening. We're coming back after this message. And a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Along with our producer Mark Wolf and our director Suzanne Smith, Greg Gumbel, Dan Deerdorf, and the rest of our CBS Sports crew in the Superdome in New Orleans, the Buffalo Bills knocking on the door. And there's one lonely guy over there, Corey White, guilty of back-to-back penalties, which have the Bills at the 2-yard line. Jackson pushing, shoving, and no touchdown call yet.
Unfortunately for the Bills, none of their players were wearing a striped shirt.
You know, it looked like everybody but Jackson was in the end zone.
Let's take a good look at this. Obviously, he's in the midst of that. Oh, it did. We can't see where the ball is. I would agree. I mean, your mind is telling you that he crossed the goal line, but
and they want the challenge flag, and they get it.
The problem here is going to be for Terry McAulay to see the football.
Buffalo is challenged that the runner scored.
Terry McAulay will take a look at it,
but he's going to have to see the football break the plane. Let's see if we can see from here.
Fred Jackson.
Oh, now right there, I mean, my impression is that the football broke the plane. That's going to be interesting. Is that going to be decisive enough for Terry McAulay to overturn the call on the field, which was a non-score? You can't see the football from that angle, so
you can barely see Fred Jackson.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be any good. This is right here. Fred's going to appear out of that group. Right there. You can see the football. And is that enough for Terry McAulay to say it looked like the football broke the plane?
Dan, it feels like one of those deals where if it had been ruled a touchdown, he probably wouldn't see enough to overturn it the other way.
I couldn't agree more. You're right. I think he broke the plane, but thinking it and having conclusive evidence looking at it those are two different deals.
And this has obviously been no snap decision for Terry McAulay.
That one angle we have from above, when you freeze it in that position, it looks like the ball has broken the plane. This angle right here. But again, I'm not sure this is good enough for Terry McAulay.
Here's Terry's call.
After review, the ruling on the field stands.
Yep.
Buffalo is charged with their first timeout.
Yeah, it looked like it, but it wasn't definitive.
And you kind of get the feeling was Doug Marrone talked into it by his players.
Well, what's he got to lose here? That's down 28-10. He's in desperate need of a touchdown.
Well, maybe we'll say this at the end of the quarter, but he's lost the timeout for one thing. 3rd and goal. Jackson, touchdown.
No dispute there. Now the question is whether Buffalo goes for 2 points in this situation. Good surge off the left side. Chandler gets a good block. Cordy Glenn there at left tackle. They won the line of scrimmage on that one. And the book says in this situation, go for 2, trying to make it a 10-point game.
But they will not.
They're not. They're going to kick the field goal.
Extra point.
I mean, the extra point rather. But
they're going to go to a field goal.
But they're still going to need a touchdown and a 2-point conversion to go with a field goal.
Still plenty of time remaining as Carpenter kicks the extra point. So with the extra point, the New Orleans Saints lead is now 28-17. Plenty of time remaining. 14-20 in the fourth. see how well the Buffalo Bills have performed lately in the fourth quarter, outscoring their opponents 27-0 over the last 3 games.
Well, the Saints have their hands team up there anticipating a possible Buffalo onside kick. Personally, I think it's a little early in the fourth quarter for that.
A lot early.
Yeah. I'd kick it away.
Drew Brees would love field position like that. Sproles chasing this one into the end zone and is not going to bring it out. So it'll be first down from the 20-yard line. Next Sunday, the NFL on CBS doubleheader time. Dan, you and I will be in Buffalo. Alex Smith and those Kansas City Chiefs going up against the Bills, or Phillip Rivers, the Chargers, challenging RG3 and the Redskins. And then Roethlisberger versus Brady, Steelers against the Patriots. Check your local listings, beginning with JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and the coach on the NFL Today, presented by Southwest Airlines.
Got news that the Patriots lost Sebastian Vollmer, their very talented right tackle, to an injury, and that's just, again, it has been a struggle for the Pats this year.
You ready, my son?
Brees on first down. Time, throwing. And an interception went right through the hands of Mikel Roby. And a penalty marker down.
Well, Robert Meacham was certainly acting like he got held or interfered with. Got to wonder if Stephon Gilmore wasn't doing something to Meacham.
There's no foul for defensive pass interference. Second down.
So after all that, 2nd and 10.
Well, there's Gilmore and Meacham there at the top of your screen. Well, Meacham gives a stutter and go, and it's a complete grab by Gilmore, and they pick up the flag. Explanation to follow?
Sure, post-game.
Yeah, post-game. I don't understand why you'd pick up that flag. That was a desperation grab by Stephon Gilmore. Completely hooked Robert Meacham.
2nd and 10.
50. Short, ready. You ready, my son?
Brees, quick slant, that's complete. Out to about the 29. Let's get another update from New York, JB and Boomer.
A productive second half for the Pats.
Hey guys, take a look at the play that Devon McCourty is going to make for the New England Patriots. He's the safety. He goes up, taps the ball back into play to his teammate Marquise Cole. New England leads 20-17. Greg Gumbel.
All right, JB, thank you. Meanwhile, Pierre Thomas with the carry. And the line of scrimmage is going to be marked at the 30. And Brees was in hurry-up mode and had enough for a first down. .13 and a half to play here in the fourth.
Well, that highlight we just saw from McCourty and the Patriots, that was that was pretty spectacular work on the sideline.
And we get a whistle on the field, and Doug Marrone is having a conversation on the far side.
Is he going to challenge the spot here?
Buffalo's challenge that the runner was down prior to reaching the line of gain. Timeout.
So Terry McAulay will go back under the hood, and we'll take another timeout.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by FedEx One Rate. Simple flat rate shipping with the reliability of FedEx. McDonald's, I'm loving it. And by Cadillac.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. First down, New Orleans. Buffalo is charged with their second timeout. Buffalo is out of challenges for the remainder of the game.
It's really very reminiscent of the play on the goal line. There's such a sea of humanity in there that it's impossible for Terry McAulay to figure out where the ball is. And, of course, Doug Marrone realizes I have no more challenges, so I don't need to keep that in my pocket
for that
any longer.
Pull down. Mike 5-3, ready.
It just, again, no way can McCauley see the football.
Here's Pierre Thomas, and Thomas across the 30 to the 31. For what it's worth, Doug Marrone is 0 for 3 in the challenge department this season.
Well, that was kind of expressed by how he tossed that flag. I don't know if he knew his chances of winning that were microscopic, but Terry McCauley would have to see the knee, the football, or an elbow on the ground. He'd have to be, and in that hodgepodge, I don't know how that's possible.
Brees running out of time.
Mario Williams.
And back to about the line of scrimmage. Mario's having himself some season.
Well, I think Jed Collins, number 45, is going to try to come back over there, and he just gets rejected by Mario Williams. He just got dispatched. Get out of my way. Jed Collins is going, hey, I didn't sign up for this. Mario Williams moves all around the defensive line. For Buffalo, he's been left, right, inside.
Here's a 3rd and 9 for Brees. Throwing and nicely broken up by Mikel Roby on Lance Moore. Didn't give too much ground, came back and got a hand in the way.
No, he was ready for Moore to run this stop route, and Roby just didn't give any ground whatsoever, and that's just, you can have the hand on the back. He fought around to get in front, get that left hand on the football.
So Leotis McKelvin back inside his own 15-yard line will try to give the Bills a little field position if he can.
Boy, big kick.
Lost the ball, picked it up, and is dropped short of the 20-yard line. A reminder for you, coming up on the Subway post-game show, join JB, Dan Shannon, Boomer, and the coach for all the latest NFL scores and highlights, all coming up on the Subway post-game show.
Well, there's a lot of green in front of them, but if this Bills offense can somehow come up with a drive and score some points, either a field goal or a touchdown, they make it a one-score ball game.
You're looking right now at the need for a field goal and a touchdown with a 2-point conversion. Thad Lewis, slant. Nice grab made short of the 30-yard line by Stevie Johnson.
And somehow Stevie Johnson is still in this football game on one and a half legs, because he is hobbling all over the place. And the Bills very comfortable running this no-huddle offense. It's their base offense.
Stevie Johnson, 6 carries for 60 yards, and this is Tashard Choice out to about the 32. We don't know, Dan, what that injury is that Stevie Johnson's dealing with. It almost looks like he's dealing with a groin pull on that side.
It's when he grabs it up high, and here he comes out of the game. But you got to give him credit. He's toughing it out.
Meanwhile, Tashard Choice on a knee and slow to get up.
And the Bills are mighty thin at the running back department.
They'll look at Tashard Choice. We'll take a timeout. A look at the AFC East. Buffalo fighting to stay relevant as they chase the New England Patriots, who are leading the Miami Dolphins as we speak. 2nd and 7. Lewis throwing. Overthrows a wide open Marquise Goodwin.
Boy, a real mistake in the New Orleans secondary to leave Goodwin that wide open. You can see the Keenan Lewis, the corner to that side, got knocked down, and again, Thad Lewis ends up on the ground where he has spent a large portion of the day.
3rd and 7. A little noise from the New Orleans fans. Lewis with time, throwing, and is intercepted. picked off by Keenan Lewis. Lewis, 45 and close to midfield.
Oh, did Lewis hurt his knee? Oh, on that tackle, Keenan Lewis, he hurt his right leg. Well, again, Thad Lewis trying to make something happen. He forces the issue here. And again, that's I think he's trying to throw the ball underneath to Robert Woods. And it looked like it just sailed on him going over the top. And Lewis immediately clutching at that right knee when he gets tackled at the end of this run. Right there. Goodwin actually came in and made the tackle.
And the Buffalo Bills, which they've been doing so well in the turnover differential area, +5 coming in, -3 today. Brees threw that one into the dirt under pressure.
Well, yeah, Mario Williams was a microsecond from knocking the ball out of his hands, coming in from behind. He just sat down with Michelangelo and said, carve me a defensive end, he would sculpt Mario Williams.
Mario Williams came into this game with 10 sacks. He registered 10.5 all of last year.
Ready.
They've been trying to get help.
Ready, my son.
2nd and 10. The pitch is for Thomas. Spinning to the Buffalo 46.
And you know, going back to that interception by Thad Lewis, this is where the deck is completely stacked against him in a situation like this. You don't have a wealth of experience to fall back on. You're going against a really high echelon NFL defense and a great coordinator, and you're just trying to make a play, and there's just no margin for error whatsoever.
Ready. Ready. What's that?
Brees needs 5 for a first down. Has time, throwing, complete. First down and then some to Benjamin Watson. That's just too much time to give Drew Brees.
Yeah, and what a smart signing by Mickey Loomis and the Saints to get Benjamin Watson. You know, you're going, well, geez, that's the last thing on earth they need is another tight end with Jimmy Graham. Well, guess what? This is a 2 tight end league now, and Benjamin Watson has been doing it for a long time. 6 years in New England. He spent 3 years in Cleveland, and now in his 10th year he gets a chance to be a part of this offense. And I think Jimmy Graham with that sore foot is become a spectator.
Ready. Ready, my son.
Pierre Thomas inside the 30 to the 29.
And we talked about this earlier, but boy, would the Saints love to get their, as Emerald would say, just kick it up a notch. They would like to get their running game to be a little more formidable.
Emerald who?
Now, who do you think? Emerald Lagasse, the chef.
Oh,
kicks it up a notch.
okay.
Oh, obviously you don't spend nearly enough time watching cooking shows.
Ready,
No.
what's that?
No, I don't. That pass lobbed over and off the fingertips of Josh Hill, the rookie. And a penalty marker down in the backfield.
Holding offense number 45, 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Jed Collins guilty of the hold.
Well, Jed Collins this time is going to try to block Jerry Hughes. Remember, we saw him a couple plays ago trying to block Mario Williams, and he just got thrown out of the way. This time he locks up with Jerry Hughes, and Jerry Hughes runs him back to the quarterback. And again, when you see people having to do serious pass blocking like fullbacks and tight ends, sometimes their weaknesses are exposed.
Jed Collins would feel a lot worse about that penalty if Josh Hill had been able to hold on.
Yes.
2nd and 17. Screen out to the side doesn't work. That's Darren Sproles, and he is well covered by Nikel Roby.
Well, again, you have to admire this Buffalo team and how scrappy they are. These guys just don't quit. They might lose a game, but they're going to play all 60 minutes. And they forced the Saints now into a 3rd and 20. And I'm sorry, as good as Drew Brees is, even he's uncomfortable in this scenario.
The Bills rush 4. Brees scrambles, looking for the end zone. It is caught for a touchdown. Kenny Stills. Dan, there was a Buffalo defender right there. I don't know how you complete that ball. That was Nickel Roby.
Well, sometimes it's just one-on-one. It's me versus you, and Drew Brees says, I'm going to see if my guy is good enough to make a play, because that's what it is. Kenny still makes the play, and Nickel Roby doesn't. And how about that football by Drew Brees, who buys himself extra time by getting out of the pocket, and he gave his guy a chance. And you know, it was 3rd and 20, so he might as well chuck it all the way to the end zone.
5 touchdown passes on the day for Drew Brees. And that extra point is good. Penalty marker down. And Leotis McKelvin.
We still got...
Running into the kicker, defense number 21.
Guilty of that penalty.
Decisive point is good. 5-yard penalty will be assessed for the kickoff. Timeout.
McKelvin came and laid out and just caught the foot.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Subway Restaurants. Try the Tuscan Chicken Melt $6 footlong special today. And by Mercedes-Benz and the all-new CLA.
Quarterback, join Phil Simms, Rich Gannon, Steve Berline on the NFL Monday. '72nd time in his career Drew Brees has thrown for more than 300 yards. And that's second only to Peyton Manning, who did it 78 times.
How about 5 touchdowns on the day, huh? 8th time. Man, those are just Star Wars numbers.
I don't understand how a defensive back just doesn't make a play on that last touchdown pass, though.
No, he was right there. And again, it was just my guy and your guy, and my guy was better.
So Thad Lewis back to the airwaves. Chandler going nowhere. Hit on the far side by Kenny Vaccaro, the rookie out of Texas.
And, you know, keep in mind, Greg, as we're talking about the 5 touchdowns by Brees, at the end of the first quarter, we were talking about how rusty the Saints offense looked. Remember, well into the second quarter, they only had like 60-some yards of offense.
Maybe Sean Payton will say that's the last time I give them the whole bye week off.
Well, they certainly kicked it into gear.
Lewis on 2nd and 10. And, oh, what a catch made. Across the 35-yard line by Marquise Goodwin. That one sailed a bit, and Goodwin went up and got it.
Well, that rookie from Texas showed why they drafted him in the 3rd round. He really, for only 5'9", he climbed a ladder to get that ball, didn't he?
So it's a first down at the 40-yard line. Lewis sets up the screen. Fred Jackson. And Jackson brought down at about the 46-yard line. Let's go to New York. JB, Boomer.
Dez Bryant. JB, things are heating up in Detroit. Up and down they go. And here comes Dez Bryant. It's his turn right here. Look at this throw by Tony Romo. 2 Detroit defenders right there going for the football. Dez Bryant catches it, runs down the sideline. Dallas takes the 27-17 lead.
All right, back to Greg Gumbel.
All right, guys, thank you. That pass is incomplete and almost intercepted by Jabari Greer.
Well, again,
the ex-Buffalo Bill.
Well, Thad Lewis makes the mistake of throwing it to someone who's completely bracketed. Stevie Johnson had there wasn't Dan Marino couldn't have made a throw to a receiver covered like that. And Thad Lewis, lucky. The ball sailed on him, and very fortunate it wasn't picked off. Got to make better decisions.
You sure Dan couldn't have done that?
No, I don't think even Dan could have dropped it in to Stevie Johnson, who's hobbling downfield to begin with. I don't think Stevie Johnson's going to be getting separation from just about anybody.
Not today.
I give him an A+ for effort.
Saints call a timeout, use their second in this half. Take a break with 5:48 to play. And the Saints looking to make it a 2-game lead on Carolina.
And I think we just saw Sean Payton giving Rob Ryan some instructions on what he wants his defense to do. Seems to me like that was a let's go. Let's come out. I'm trying to interpret his body language, but that might be let's get after this guy. Well, here they got a lot of people up by the line.
Hey, bacon, beta.
3rd and 5.
What game?
And here they come. Quick pass, and that's complete to midfield for a first down to T.J. Graham.
Well, Rob Ryan did as instructed. He came with an all-out blitz. He sent 6. And they end up converting it for the first down anyway.
This is a Buffalo team that has scored at least 20 points every game this season. And Denver is the only other team in the NFL to have accomplished that. Screen, overthrown, Jackson.
Yeah, here in the second half, especially, Thad Lewis has been having problems gauging. I don't know if he's just so excited or whatever, but the ball is sailing on him, and he's had some pretty serious overthrows. And they don't come a lot easier than the screen that they had set up right there. That's a little flip that just you can't do that.
Over the 50.
And Doug Marone and his offense have no choice but to continue to throw the football. Lewis throwing sideline, and that's complete. Out of bounds inside the 40, Stevie Johnson. Well, you have to really tip your hat to Stevie Johnson because he's struggling and he's still out there making plays.
And he's actually not limping quite as badly as he was before. And, you know, he gets separation here on Corey White. You know, if I'm Corey White, I'm going, well, wait a minute. Why am I trailing a guy here who's hopping along?
First down, quick slant, and boy, Jabari Greer looked like he read that one.
He sat on that route, didn't he?
Jabari Greer was an undrafted free agent by the Bills back in '04, spent 5 years in Buffalo, and now in his 5th season here in New Orleans.
He's been to a few rodeos, and he's gonna sit on that quick slant. He read it. He either ID'd it by formation or the body language of Stevie Johnson, but he sat all over that route.
2nd and 10. Lewis looking left, throws left, and has got his tight end out of bounds at about the 25-yard line. Scott Chandler. Well, you know what the Bills want to do. You know, Doug Marone's philosophy is up-tempo. This isn't the quarterback that he went into the season with, but the philosophy remains the same. And you've got to like Thad Lewis's arm.
Well, and they like Thad Lewis's, ability to actually understand this offense and execute.
Lewis stepping up and now going to slide down at about the line of scrimmage.
And give Thad Lewis credit. He's learned his lesson as we look at E.J. Manuel, who will reclaim the starting position as soon as his knee is healthy enough to allow him to. They invested the first pick in the draft for this big, strong guy who, we saw him on opening day, Greg, against New England, and he was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And until he was hurt in Game 5 against Cleveland, he was playing well.
2nd and 11. Lewis with time, another sideline pass, diving for it is Robert Woods and couldn't hold on.
You're right about one thing. Thad Lewis has a live arm. When that thing leaves his hand, it is on its way in a hurry. He's a small man. They list him at 6'2", 219. I go, are you 219? In a skeptical tone of voice.
Can I just say that's an out-and-out lie?
Yeah. He goes, well, I'm closer to 210, and I'm not sure about that.
3rd and 11. Lewis on the move, throwing. It is incomplete.
Oh, and a couple of Saints run into each other, and they're both a little worse for wear there.
Kenny Vaccaro is one of them. And
Keenan
Lewis, the other.
Yeah. Listen to these two hit each other as T.J. Graham gets out of the way. That was a pretty violent collision. T.J. Graham came back for the ball. Scott Chandler was in the area, and that's why there were two Saints defenders.
Kenny Vaccaro says, I'm good to go.
Saints think this rookie from Texas has an awfully bright future.
So the Bills are going to send Thad Lewis back out there now on 4th and 11. And 4 minutes exactly to play. Corey White replacing Lewis on the corner, and Raphael Bush replacing Vaccaro at the safety position. 13th play of this drive. Lewis looking left, throwing left, popped up in the air and incomplete. Paris Carlson was in the way, and the ball will go over to the Saints on down. Well, Dan, were it not for a couple of early turnovers and some costly penalties, the Buffalo Bills would be right in the middle of this thing.
Yeah, they would. I mean, they've played better than the score indicates. But you're right, the turnovers. You'd think that having 3 turnovers to the Saints none, that they'd just be getting run completely out of the building. And maybe at first blush you look at 35-17 and you think that's what's happening. But anyone who's been here from the beginning knows that's not what's happening.
We asked Doug Marrone last night, if you win the toss, what will you do? He said, I want the football because I don't want that crowd all over us. So he wins the toss, he gets the football, and he loses it on a fumble on the first play of the game.
Yeah, that wasn't in the master plan. And I thought he lost his quarterback on the first play. If you weren't with us, Thad Lewis took a shot in the ribs there, number 9 on the headset, and he was down on the ground for, what do you think, 5 minutes?
Sure.
And normally, when someone is down for that long, they have a significant injury. Hey, he didn't miss a play. He came back in for the start of the next series.
You ready, my son?
This is Kyrie Robinson. And he is pulled to a stop by Kyle Williams. Let's go back to that first play of the game this afternoon.
Yeah, and watch from the left comes David Hawthorne, number 57, and he is going to put his put his helmet right into the rib cage of Thad Lewis. And when that's the way a game gets started, when you're on the road against a superior team, you'd think, there goes the quarterback, there goes the game, all in one play. And it wasn't the case. The Buffalo defense held, And New Orleans, they missed the field goal and came away with nothing.
3rd and 6.
Ready? You ready for set?
And Brees going to throw for it. And that catch is made across the 40 out to the 44-yard line by Watson for a first down. And that'll take us to the 2-minute warning. Nice pitch and catch, Brees to Watson.
Good hands by Watson because he gets hit pretty hard by Jim Leonard.
2 minutes to play here in New Orleans. Fans make for the exit. With this one pretty much in the grasp of the New Orleans Saints, they can begin to think about their trip up to the Meadowlands to play the New York Jets next week, while the Buffalo Bills, we'll see them next week at home, Dan, against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, the Saints have quite a run coming up, Greg. You talked about them going to the Jets. Then they got Dallas, San Francisco, Atlanta, and Seattle. Their next 4 games.
A reminder for you, coming up, the Subway postgame show. JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and the coach for all the latest scores and highlights coming up on the Subway postgame show.
That's a murderer's row of games. The Jets are hot. Dallas is playing well. San Francisco. Now, Dallas and San Francisco, they're going to be here at the Dome. But then on the road to Atlanta and Seattle. And we know how hard it is to win out in the great Northwest.
So Drew Brees taking a couple of knees to wind the clock down as you take a look at the passing leaders on the day. And Brees right up there behind Matthew Stafford. Running the football, Terrell Pryor.
1 rush for 93 yards.
That's not too bad.
Wow, first play of the game. That's not that'll help your rushing average.
And Calvin Johnson, he's okay, isn't he?
Yeah, how about Kenny Stills, though? 3 catches for $129 and a pair of TDs for a rookie. Not bad.
Ready? You ready? Where's that?
And Drew Brees with a knee. Buffalo Bills put up a fight, but not nearly enough. And the 2 good friends, Sean Payton and Doug Marrone, meeting at midfield. And Doug Marrone told us at the end of the day, we're still very good friends. The New Orleans Saints, after a slow start, win it by a score of 35-17. They improve to 6-1 on the year. The Bills fall to 3-5. For Dan Deerdorf, I'm Greg Gumbel. Let's go to New York and James Brown.